Hello, everyone, to another episode of WMFG Tribe Talks. This is your host, Sonal Mazumder. And today I have with me Priya Kannan as our guest. Priya is another WMFG member. She's also the head of pipeline project management for oncology at GSK and also a mom of two kids. So, hi, Priya, welcome to the podcast today.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure to be here, Sonal. I mean, it's exciting. Again, I got very excited when I first learned about your group, right? And then I kind of joined your salsa class, and then when you had the idea of this blog, and I said, "Huh, what a great opportunity to kind of share some of my learnings and experience with this group of like-minded women." So yeah, I'm glad to really spend this afternoon with you.
Oh wow, thank you, Priya. I mean, I'm so glad to even have met you, and I'm looking forward to every all the discussion, all the banters that we're going to have today. So let us start. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what motivated you to WMFG and also to this podcast talk today? And today, just to be clear with our audience here, we are going to talk about travel and health, which is super important for me because it's so much of a challenge for me to take care of my health, and I've also heard my friends and colleagues saying the same thing, that okay, vacations means we are totally off the grid, and it's so exhausting, and by the time we come back it's like starting from the scratch. So this is a very important topic, and I'm so excited to talk to you about that. So yeah, if you could tell me a little bit about what brought you here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's spring break now, and before you know, you're kind of going on summer, right?
Yeah, I
So
know.
yeah, it's perfect. So yeah, beyond my professional identity, as you mentioned, I'm a mom of two kids, two grown-up girls now, in their 20s. But I personally am extremely passionate advocate for fitness and nutrition, and kind of committed to maintaining a quote unquote happy and healthy lifestyle, right? So my journey has been sort of continuous adaptation, which I've refined and grown along as I came here, right? So I young in my career, I was sort of like as a student, I was actually an athlete in school. So I
Great.
always remember that I should eat healthy and kind of watch what I ate, and so that I can perform better in track and field. And then I come here to the US, and I'm like, I'm a student on a paycheck to paycheck, eating
Yeah.
perhaps Maggie noodles, right?
Always.
And then you're like, okay, I cannot afford that apple. So how do you still sort of then you kind of refine a little bit. Again, I was in my 20s, so it was easy for my body to kind
Right.
of change.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I have evolved and changed a few things, and wanted to make sure that today I can not only draw on those experience of that evolution, but also sort of share that with this broader community, as to what you do not only every day, but also when you travel, be it on yourself or with kids. So that's sort of what I thought, like, at least from an area or from a point of my experience, rather than like my expertise. So I thought
No, of
that,
course. I mean,
yeah.
that's all we want in this podcast. It's not about only the experts. I mean, I think we all are experts instead of the other way because, we all have very unique experiences, and that could be an expertise to share with others who doesn't have those experiences. So I'm very glad that you decided to offer or share this knowledge with me and everybody here. And, I'm looking forward to learn more about it.
Yeah, it's been great. And yeah, so I as I said, since it's spring break now, and I'm sure that a lot of us are sort of packing stuff with the kids. And
Yeah, yeah. I
so
mean, like, I think
yeah.
so many of my friends are already out for vacations, and and of course, summer is some time when people definitely travel, and
Yeah.
that's also some time people want to, like, move around and things like that. So Priya, what, like, as you said, that you were an athlete, and you have been, you have gone through an evolution of things, starting from sometimes when you probably didn't get an option or didn't get quite an understanding of eating healthy, then now you are more into, like, being more mindful about it. So can you tell me about the small details of the small daily mindful eating that you do and how that has changed your life over the years?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Early on in my life, and I had a friend of mine who told me this, and she said, "Priya, we see all these like advertisements about like health fitness, and so what not to eat, to make sure that you don't take enough sugar, what not to eat because you have cholesterol, and I think the most important thing is what you add before you subtract. And I kind of like it, right? Like you need to have something to add before you give something back. And I kind of took that to heart, and it sort of helped a lot. And I kind of came up with three things that I do mindfully every day: add, read, and then subtract. So let me elaborate, right? Add. So I think it's important for us to sort of add proteins into our diet. Like, I'm a vegetarian, so it makes it even more harder and for me, and I have to like mindfully do that, right? So every meal I kind of look at and saying, okay, what's the protein option do I have? And as a student, as you said, not all the time we would have something, but at least I know that if I didn't have enough protein in the morning, can I grab a protein shake? Can I bring some tofu in it, or can I eat some eggs in the evening? So I think that's something that you add stuff, right? And now people all are talking a lot about like protein powders, which was not there before. Again, what have it
Yeah.
changed before? Now I just have a protein powder, and I might
That really
have,
helps,
yeah,
yeah.
and I have a dosa, and you sprinkle your protein powder. I actually got like hemp
The
hearts from
yep,
Costco with,
yep,
so sprinkle a little bit of hemp hearts in
yep.
your dosa or your chutneys, right? So I think you don't have to really take anything away, but mostly add to. And I also try to have more savory breakfast, because that sort of curbs my sugar feel. Like I know that we tend to kind of put some cereal or something, but I think always getting a little bit of a savory breakfast and adding something on it, avocado, for example, like. So those are kinds of, so I love growing grocery shopping because of that, because I just, it's almost like my therapy, if you will. I'm like, okay, do I have some greens? Do I have some reds? Do I have some blues? And then kind of come back home and I fill my fridge with like transparent containers. So actually makes it
Look,
visually
visually
look. And I'm like,
colorful,
oh, my
yeah.
fridge now looks like something from the ad, right? So, which is very doable. Um, Again, another addition I've kind of done, Sonal, is sort of looking at what substantially you can add that you are satiated in your meal. So farro, I've kind of introduced farro, which is very high in protein, and sort of, so you can have a simple bag of salad, cut in a few carrots, add a cooked farro in it, and you have a complete meal. And then, right? So quinoa, black rice, and these are the kinds of things that, because people say you don't eat rice, and I'm like, okay, but I am hungry. So these things add, barley in
Yeah.
oats. And so always make sure that if somebody's advised you for whatever reason to avoid white rice, bring these things in, add these things in, right? The other thing that you can subtly add, and people say, oh, eat apple cider vinegar. I mean, that is gross. Like, you cannot just take apple cider vinegar and water, right? But what I've done is I buy the apple cider vinegar, and I use my own. I don't buy dressing. I just add the apple cider vinegar in my salads. I
Okay,
don't
all
like
right.
the salads. Actually, that the dressing is expensive. It expires, and it has so many additives. Just get like some basil, some lemon, some vinegar on the top, and that you've added something, right? So those are the kinds of things that I've added. Second thing is read. So what do you read, right? It's like, go to the grocery store, and anything that's labeled healthy is not probably also healthy, right? So, and also be very mindful, right? Anything that's in your eye level is most likely the most expensive and probably the most unhealthy.
Right.
So you can probably go to the lower shelf and kind of look at something and say, okay, and it's probably less expensive and probably less processed. So kind of like, steel cut oats, right? Like what is less processed? And also look at the top 3 or 4 ingredients, because I think they weigh, the ingredients are listed in the order of weight, right? So if you're looking at processed sugar, corn syrup, or stuff that you don't even understand in the first 3 or 4 lines or even 5 lines, then that is not the right thing for you, right? Like half the protein bars that is being marketed is not really super healthy for you,
That's true.
right?
That's true.
And so I
Yeah.
think that's, so read the labels, like, and then once you know that something works for you, stick with it, right? And it might be pricey, but if that something works for you, just stick with it, right? And then the third one, then you go into subtracting, and you're looking at the labels and you kind of say, for my type, or where I am in my stage of life, or for what I'm trying to do, I want to cut sugar. For where I'm going to do, I'm cutting fat. Or where I am, I need to cut sodium. So depending on the label, you can kind of see what you need to cut, right? So that's something that I feel like I do. So to wrap up, really mindfully, what you add, what you read, and then you subtract.
Wonderful, Priya. I mean, like, this was so insightful. Like, I was totally absorbed in that. I was like, I mean, I could literally see, I could visualize the grocery store, and I could see the shelves, and I could, like, okay, next time like, now it's now embedded in my mind. So next time I go to the grocery store, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to definitely, like, look into the lower shelves, look into the more less processed food, and looking at the price and read the labels. It's a work. It's work to do, but then it's worth it.
Yeah,
it's worth it.
And also, I think the other thing is, like, always stay on the outside frames of a grocery store. The more and more center you go, the more and more processed and canned food it is.
Wow, so anytime, that's very good to know.
Yeah,
very good to know. I mean, how many people knew about it? I mean, I'm sure, like, the audience who's listening to this right now must be like awestruck, like, oh my god, we didn't know that. Next time we are going there, we are definitely going to be more mindful.
And don't go hungry.
That's true. That's true. So I mean, this is all about mindfulness. See, like, that's what Priya has been trying to focus on, that to be a little more mindful. Don't go hungry into a grocery store. You will always be attracted to the wrong things.
Yes. Because because you have a sugar low.
Of course.
So right, what happens is, like, you're dipping, your sugars are dipping, and you're kind of like going and saying, oh my god, I have to eat it.
Right.
And before you know, you're buying this huge bag of, like, stuff that's filled with sugar or whatever, that you probably coming home and you end up eating it because you bought it.
I mean, so much of it is so psychological. So
I think that's something that I've kind of again, this is something like a slow process of discovery. And because as I said, when I go to the grocery store and hungry, especially Costco, oh my god, like, I go in there half the time to probably, like, pick up, like, oh, I'm just going to pick up my bag of apples or whatever. And then before you know, I'm like walking.
Yeah, you're already like 10 bags of different things.
What happened to me?
I know. I mean, this is like, this is the whole dynamics of a grocery store. Like, we start with, like, maybe a basket, but we end up, like, having 2 carts of stuff that we bring in home. I mean, I have also been very mindful about it, because this is what exactly I used to do, like, bring stuff. A lot of people also told me that, one of my friends told me during my graduate studies that whenever you go to the grocery store, don't even use the cart, use the basket. Because that will be automatically help you to not overstuff thing, like, buy too much. Also, don't go and buy a lot of things at once. I mean, that means maybe you have to go for 2 or 3 rounds of grocery shopping, but go and just buy what you need and buy small, because then we end up buying a lot and then we have to finish it. Either they get wasted or you end up eating more. So, and then you end up buying also a lot of unnecessary or sugary stuff or unhealthy stuff. So,
right. I also put a timer on yourself. I don't know if you guys have done it. I've done it because I'm terrible. Because I'm terrible. I get so excited about, like,
like, grocery stores are especially I've learned it from my mom. Like, they used to love grocery stores, right? They would always take us with them because they love to go out, and that was their sort of relaxation. These grocery stores are like also like a stress buster. So you go and you pick up things, you see all these different colorful things and different things at the same place, and, like, it's amazing. Like, and then 3 hours gone there.
Exactly.
It's so easy. No, I really liked your idea of, like, add and read and then subtract. I mean, I think that was an amazing insight to share. Very nice, Priya. I'm just, like, so excited about that. Now, having said that, I would like now want to touch upon the next topic, because we just talked about the travel and health. So now, like, we have been so many different podcasts happening, and we are doing so many events, and how WMFG is very, like, I just started out in 2021 with a very small group of people, thinking that it will just be like a meet where we do some fitness activities. But then over the years, it has just expanded like historically, I would say. And we have done tons of events, small and big, and we have grown into a very thriving community. And today I just try, like, every year or every now and then, to add on more insights and more to help people, because I think lifestyle has been very challenging, especially, like, with so many different distractions coming in, and how people are very, very dependent on technology, and people have not been as active as they were before, as out in the nature as they were before. But we are slowly again getting back. So there is hope. It's not like there is no way out and there is no light at the end of the tunnel. So there is a way out, and we can still, be in the good thing. So I have heard this so many times. So there was somebody actually threw in the group that, hey, let's do a 75-day challenge last December. and that was about like being more mindful,
Yeah.
do some meditation on a daily basis, eat healthy, do exercises every day, and things like that. And then a bunch of us, probably including me, or I don't remember, said to her that, hey, I mean, this is December, come on, we're all traveling, we're all out on vacations, this is the Christmas time, this is the worst time to start on a challenge, right? So that got me thinking. And we were just discussing the other day that, okay, why can't like a Christmas time or a vacation time be a healthy time as well? So when you talked about traveling and how you can be, physically and mentally be more healthy during a travel or having a vacations, that what like I was like, okay, we have to talk about this. So we have to talk about this. So that brings me to the next question, that
Yeah.
if you would like to share some of your experience and the tips that you do during like a travel, or how do you do mindful eating, or maybe mindful, yeah, sorting out things, like maybe go for a walk even though you're in a vacation, or anything that you do, any kind of lifestyle changes that you do that time to make things like to enjoy your travel, but at the same time stay in track with your healthy lifestyle. So if you could just share your experience on that.
Oh, absolutely, Sonal. I mean, it's very it's natural, right? Like you're like, I'm going to be on vacation. This is like, I don't want one more assignment on my head. Like I can, like it's done. Like I am so done. I just want to like chill, right? And I think I'll probably touch on two different angles. One is like I've been there as a really very demanding career, a mom of two, going, let's say, I'm sure most of the group here are people who go to their homeland. Like for me, it's India. So, and then it's, with two girls, two daughters, two young kids growing up, I can talk a little bit about, what I do when I travel with my girls, be it locally within the US, or when
Yeah,
I go
please
home
do,
back
because
in
I'm
India.
also mom of a girl, and
It's
I know the
hard,
challenge. It's so
right?
hard, yeah.
And the second thing I can talk about, like I also travel quite a bit for work, and I'm on the road. So I can talk a little bit about like, what you can do, ask when you are traveling by yourself, and what you can do differently as well. So for the sake of, when you asked this question, I thought, I have something that maybe it's simple to remember. Let's call it the three P's. Okay. Three
Wait,
P's.
just three
P's.
P's.
P
Okay.
as, yeah, P as in Priya.
Three
P.
as in Priya. Okay,
Yeah, there you
great.
go.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Priya's three P's, right? So for me, first is about planning, right? So you know that you're going on vacation, right? Like be it India, be it let's say Yellowstone, whatever, right? Like or Disneyland. So it's about when you're going, and you know exactly what you want, what is your dietary needs for you. Like for me, as I said, I'm a vegetarian, and actually my daughters have now actually stopped drinking milk, because it's really good for they've moved into oat milk and almond milk, because it helps with their acne. So not quite a vegan, but they don't drink, they don't have milk. So I have that dietary sort of like restriction. So basically, earlier I used to plan quite a bit with Elp, so kind of saying where are the restaurants are. But I've now with Chat GPT, I've gone to the next level. I basically say I'm a vegetarian traveling, to this particular place. I'm going home, and I've actually put the name of my local town, and I've actually Googled to figure out which is the best hotel to stay in, so I can have walking distance to the supermarket, so that I can get my healthy food option. So and
And the
then
Chat GPT
a
actually
Chat
does that.
GPT,
Does that for
yes,
me for
I am
you?
going. Yeah, you can be very specific on your
Oh my
prompt.
goodness.
I am
Okay,
going
Chat GPT. Here come.
or Microsoft Copilot, whatever. I've been
Okay.
using Chat GPT for
Oh my, I
planning my
love Chat GPT.
vacation
Yep.
for
Yeah.
a while, but you can actually be mindful, saying I'm particular about what I want to eat. All right. And this is what I want. I want to stay in a hotel that's walking distance to the market. Right. And actually, I've learned a lot from my European colleagues at work. They're very, very particular. Food is almost like religion for them, especially. I have a colleague from Belgium, and also one from France. And I kind of noted how, they don't like to have working meetings. They don't like to just eat on the road. They don't like to get stuff from the window of drive-through stores, right? So it's they're very particular about like their balanced meal. And I'm like, I could do this from an Indian perspective too, right? So basically, ask ChatGPT, say, this is where I want to stay. This is what's my supermarket, and walking distance, and what are the restaurants that I can eat that will provide me this option, you have quite a few options, and then of course you can say, I want to refine this, I want to refine the search, right? So you can talk a little bit about and plan. The second thing that you can actually plan is call in the hotel. Like this I do when I travel by myself as well. So call in the hotel and say, do you have a mini fridge where you are, and do I have a microwave, right? And so then if you have a mini fridge, then you kind of know that you can get those things from the local grocery store, get your Greek yogurt, get your grapes, get your carrots, and you can stick it in there. If you have a microwave, then you can, I usually also, take like stuff that if I want to
Oatmeals and stuff.
oatmeals and stuff
Yeah.
like that, right? So basically plan, and the other thing you can ask is like, can I have my room closer to the gym? Can I have my room closer to the pool? So it's sometimes you're like in the same like hotel, but you're like in the fifth floor and the
Yeah, you
gym
don't
is in
feel
the
like, yeah.
basement, and I'm like, it's too far away. And so trying to find a room that is close enough to the gym, but of course not too noisy, right? You don't want everybody
Yeah.
running on the treadmill to be caught. So it's like, can I get a room like 4 rooms from the gym, so I can kind of walk to my gym or to the pool, right? On the same floor. So then there's no excuse. And second thing is, just again, I think that will kind of give you an itinerary about how you're planning, right? The second P is packing, what you pack. So just like what you said, oatmeals, right? So when I travel on the plane, I basically take a bag of oatmeal, and then kind of you can just ask the airplane folks to give you hot water, and you can have like hot oatmeal. And I also take like a bag of blueberries or something, so you have like a good proper meal rather than the salted pretzels or salted
Yeah.
peanuts that they give you, right? So in fact, to the point that when I'm traveling international, I like for business, I don't even take the meal that they give me in the night, because it's 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and it kind of messes up with your gut microbiome.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
I would rather have a good proper meal at home, and if and then basically skip the dinner and have a breakfast. We ask them to wake me up for a breakfast. So I think that I just go to bed and when the plane is off, and I actually get up in the morning better and have my coffee and my breakfast, and I'm good to go for my meetings, right? So think about like what is really, and if a food doesn't look good, if your airplane food doesn't look good, it's probably not good for you to put it into your body either. So it's like, what do pick those fruit choices, pick those any fruit, any food that's closest to being from the earth, unprocessed, is probably good for your system, because otherwise your gut is like completely messed up, thinking, okay, how am I going to process this, right? So, and I have, again, these are mistakes I have made when I have taken food like that. With it makes me feel very bad. Like I feel very bloated. I'm foggy, and then the more and more I realize that I don't do that, and I just take a bag of carrots or a box of blueberries, I feel like really good. So really,
Yeah, I mean, that happens. That's why we all feel
yeah,
exhausted when
yeah,
we go for travel. Maybe like the first 3, 4 days, amazing. And
yeah,
then you start feeling like bloated,
yeah,
and you're exhausted, you're tired, you feel heavy, and then you want to
yeah,
come back. And then even after the vacations, when you come back, it takes a while for you to kind of get back into the routine, because your
yeah,
body has been gone through like a huge change.
yeah,
Like your gut is totally messed up, and so like to get back to like
yeah,
to the things. And of course a lot of us also indulge in medicines that time, because
yeah,
because things act up. So yeah, I mean, this is probably the reason that
yeah.
just be a little more mindful. You can still be healthy, you can still go to a gym, in a hotel. Or I have seen when my brother used to come back home from his work, from his like work as a vacation to our home. He would make sure that even he didn't have a gym and all like that, of course it's home, he would definitely go for a run in the morning. I
Yeah,
mean, that we can also do in any vacations. Like you can
absolutely.
just go for a walk or a run,
Yeah,
because whatever you're eating or whatever the lifestyle changes that you're having for those few days, you can always do like a little bit of exercise to kind of compensate for that.
absolutely. And talk about like why you feel bloated and stuff. The other thing, this is again my personal experience, right? So when I go to India, because I've been here for so many years, the food, maybe the spices that we add, or it's the oils or whatever, it's very different. And you also go to multiple places,
Places, yeah.
multiple hotels. So what I've done, it's worked for me, is I start myself on, and also my kids with probiotics, right? So I mean, I know that everybody probably take probiotics regularly. I don't. So, but I'm very mindful before my India trip. I usually start about like a week or so before I go to India. You can get like a fresh bottle of probiotics from any grocery store. Pop in one every day morning when you're here and also when you are in India. And actually that helps, it has at least helped me.
So do you continue taking it
I
even
continue
during
to take it, and I also continue to take it when I come
come
home
home? Yeah,
for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I feel like that gives you a good microbiome sort of. I don't know. It's sort of helped me, and
Yeah.
since I've done that, I don't get. I'm not
Bloating or
I don't get bloating, and of course, I'm always watchful about my water. I always plan when you plan also kind of plan to take your water bottle with you, like an empty water bottle in the airplane, so you can always fill it as you go in any of those coolers. But yeah, so basically plan that as well, right? So the other thing I also plan is like throw in your sneakers, throw in those exercise elastic stretch bands. Those are not they're just a little piece. So throw it in there and you work out
yeah,
one
just
workout.
do it in the room. That's
Yeah,
fine. Just do it in the room. Like
exactly. And actually, what I do is I also call them to give me an extra blanket and a couple
yeah,
of extra towels.
yeah.
So all they need is have a little space for you to
Space. I
do your
mean,
Surya Namaskar
yeah,
or
that's
your
it. Yeah, just
meditation.
I always do that.
25 jumping jacks, and
Yeah,
you're done.
and you're done. You don't need to like do
Like,
like an hour, couple of hours of thing. You just need half an hour,
yeah.
and then you're good for the day. I
Yeah.
mean, it's good.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, when you plan about, you plan about where you're going to stay. You pack your, workout shoes, your workout fitness band. Pack like little snackies
Yeah.
that's healthy. And then the third one is portion control, right? Sometimes you go in there. I was actually in West Virginia the other day for a hiking. The only place that I could get there was had like either meat or pizza. So
Oh.
I'm like, oh my god, now I'm going to like.
Yeah, I know.
So I ended up eating pizza, but I'm just very mindful of it, right? So
Yeah.
I'm like,
You
okay,
can't do like 5 slices of pizza,
yeah,
right?
exactly, right. And then I know that, and actually sometimes they're very accommodating because I also look that they have ingredients that they put on pizza.
Right.
So then I'm like, is there any way to give me a small bowl of like a salad or whatever? And they were very nice. They didn't
Right.
even, in fact, they didn't even charge me. They're like, ma'am, I put it on the topping. You can just have it, right? They give me a pizza, and then they actually gave me some uncooked sort of fresh veggies on the side. So added, sometimes just ask, like,
Yeah.
and they would be able to accommodate for you. And I think instead of saying I'm a vegetarian, I eat only vegetables, be very specific. Can I
Yeah.
have a carrot? Can I have some salad? Can I have lettuce? And then they know what you're talking
Exactly.
about.
Otherwise, it's not.
Otherwise, you're like a vegetarian,
Yeah.
so I don't
So
know. I
of
don't have
course,
anything
yeah. I mean, how would they
vegetarian.
know? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that be very specific on what you ask. So then, yeah. So those are the three things, Sonal. Like it's
Yeah.
really planning, packing, and
And
portion
portion
control.
control.
And after all,
Fantastic.
you're on
Fantastic.
vacation, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's okay. Just enjoy. And once you do that, you don't think about much. You go with the flow.
Right.
But you know that you have done something mindful. You have taken care of your body, and enjoy your vacation. Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
That's true. Very nice, Priya. Again, a lot of insight, a lot of knowledge that you're sharing. And I think like we all need this as we are aging because, of course, our bodies are not like 20s anymore. So to wrap this up, I would like to just ask you if you still have any other tips or suggestions for the women of the group, like maybe who are, as for example, for me, when I think of vacation, I'm like, this is the time I can just eat or do whatever I can. Like, I'm going to a big a resort or something and they're giving me a bunch of, and of course, most of the time they have buffet, like full of like yummy meal in front of me. And I want to try everything and feel myself and hardly able to move. Yeah, that's what I do all the time. But I see so if you have any tips, like how to have your mind control,
Yeah.
while, deciding or you're packing or you're even seeing all these things and still be like, okay,
Yeah.
I have to think about the after effect. I have to think about in the long term how my body or mind is going to impact. So if you have any tips or suggestions for the women of the group or anybody who is listening to the podcast.
Yeah. And Sonal, you know what? The other interesting thing is also technology. I know it's a very diverse group, right? Like what you did in your 20s is not going to work in 30s or 40s, definitely not in 50s, where I am right now, right? So I think because your body changes. And so, for example, if you're in the 20s, like my daughters are, they eat whatever, they come back, they go for a run for 2 days, and they're back on track, right? So for us, you have to as you are 45 plus or whatever, you could get a little bit more sort of mindful about when you're on vacation. again, when you're on vacation, enjoy. But what I would do is probably, it's very interesting because it's also the order in which you eat, right? So make sure that I know that my husband does this, and I always give him a hard time on it. He goes to Indian restaurants. He's like, who eats the salad in the restaurant bar? I'm not going to eat salad when I come to Indian restaurant. And I'm like, I think you should. And then of course I'm like, of course he goes his way. I'm fine. But for me, he always laughs at me. But I always begin my plate with a salad, and then I kind of add my proteins, and then so even if there is sabji or whatever, kind of make sure that you take the proteins in
Right.
that, right? And then I go back to my carbs, and of course then I have my sweet. But then it always comes last, right?
Correct,
and
yeah.
so if you kind of load up your food, if you reorder that, otherwise then it sort of messes up your
That's
system.
true.
Then you tend to eat more. Again, you eat more sugar, you crave more sugar. You'll not end up with one gulab jamun, but
Yeah,
probably two,
two.
right? And so I think that it's so basically for this audience, I would probably say, be mindful of what sort of works for you, and also you'll feel good.
And
Like,
yeah, it's about
you can
your-
tell the difference.
yeah, I can tell
you
the
go
difference.
in there, you go in there, you have all you can eat buffet. You at the moment, especially as I said, and eat slow, right? Like sometimes you're so hungry, you kind of stuff yourself up and like eat slow. So that salad sort of makes your brain kind of think like, okay, I've had food.
Yeah.
And now then you can process it, right? So
Right.
although you're tempted to go after your naans or whatever, you take and it's funny because actually one of my European friends say that, they're like, Priya, I really don't eat that complimentary bread they give me. I go for those appetizers, I go for those vegetables. And I'm like, it kind of
That actually makes sense,
right?
yeah, because we completely fill ourselves up with
Yeah,
that
the
complimentary
bread, right? I know it's bread.
I'm like, it's bread, it's complimentary. Okay, just fill up yourself
The
with that.
actual true Europeans never eat those
I
bread
know.
because they wait for it. You can eat those bread, but maybe you can just you
Like
just
eat along, like when
can say
yeah.
can you bring my appetizer of this XYZ vegetables along with the bread,
Right,
And then
yeah.
so those are the mindful thing. It's easier said than done,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, don't overthink it. Like, it's a vacation. It's we all trip,
Right.
and we just get up, and for me it's like, don't go saying that, oh, I ate bad, I ate 2 gulab jamuns yesterday, I'm already off the bandwagon. This whole vacation I'm just going to like go loose, and I'll come back. The farther you get away from that track, and it's harder to sort of get, and then you kind of feel bad about yourself, right? So I think it's more just do something mindful, and if you trip, it's okay. It's
come back to it,
and
yeah.
be happy. That's why I said in the beginning of the podcast earlier today, I said it's happy and healthy.
That's
and
true.
Mindful being.
That's true.
Do
Yeah.
what makes sense for you.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot be healthy. I mean, you cannot be healthy if
Yeah.
you're not happy.
Yeah.
I mean, I have tried, like, long time back. I have tried all these different fasting methods, and like, because there's this craze of people want to lose weight, and
Yeah.
everybody wants to look skinny and
Yeah.
things like that. And I've seen that they made me miserable, like the juice diet and only coconut water diet. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do all of this because none of them made me happy. And if you're not happy, the stress is going to bloat you up and
Yeah.
like mess your system. And no matter what you do, it's never going to work out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you got to be happy with what you're doing. And that thing comes like in like little portions. It's not like something that, okay, from today onwards, I'm going to plan everything out. I'm going to not eat this, that. It's going to it takes time. It takes time to kind of implement those a little bit. But being mindful and kind of happily introducing them gradually in your lifestyle would make it much more sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Add before you subtract.
Yeah, add before you subtract. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Priya. I think this was an amazing podcast. Your energy, your insights, your knowledge and expertise has really been very helpful to me and to everybody who is listening today. And I'm sure like a lot of people are going to get back to you saying thank you for everything that you shared.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, go after what makes sense for you. Lean on your partner, lean on your children, make them a part of the journey, make them get excited about the colors in their plates, make them get excited about going to, healthy markets. and make it a part of your lifestyle. And
Yep.
it's a pleasure, Sonal. I mean, again, I enjoy being a part of your group. Looking forward to just participating in more of your healthy fitness sessions, and it's a pleasure. Again,
Yeah.
thank you again.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us. If you have any questions, always check back on the YouTube link, or of course, text in the group, like on the Facebook, Instagram. We are everywhere. Thank you so much.